Welcome to Mama's Midnight Council. My name is Janelle. I have been mothering professionally now for over 7 years to 2 little ones, and I've created this channel mainly for myself, or rather myself when I was a young mom. I wish I had this, a space where I could ask questions and learn about situations that other people go through, that I was going through at the same time, and I just wasn't aware that this happens to a lot of people. And hopefully, we'll be able to communicate with one another, young moms that have been doing this for a while, older moms, and share information that we just lose from not talking to each other. So something that is on brand for me is to suffer in silence. I don't know if any of you also can relate to that. Suffering in silence, meaning that I try to figure things out on my own, and I end up spending way too much time trying to figure out the problem or the answer to my problems by myself, instead of just asking and talking to people and gathering information up that way. The reason that that happens, that I've realized now that I've been doing this for a while, is that shame is such a big part of at least my growing up. I'm an eldest daughter, and so there's this anxiety for like perfection that exists. And when you're somebody that, I didn't even know it was anxiety, I didn't know it was perfectionism. I was 35 when I was diagnosed with ADHD, so struggling and not understanding why, and then blaming myself for it. And then if I can't be like everybody else, that must mean that I'm broken, or I was just made wrong. And so it's only natural that I get to be an adult, a full-grown adult with a child, and things don't happen like they do in the movies, or they don't happen as I think other people are having a more easier time than I am. And it's just because I'm not asking questions. I feel ashamed for not being able to know something that I don't have never done before straight out of the gate. So it's just not possible. And at the time, and I still struggle with it now on occasion, more than just on occasion, it's like shame in not being able to do things at 100% professional, years of experience type of level, when it's something that's brand new and I've never done it before. It happens all the time, and I don't intentionally do it. And sometimes I get into these things and I'm like, I know I'm not going to be good, but then I'm still frustrated that I'm not good at the thing that I just tried for the first time. It doesn't help that I have ADHD and I like to start new projects all the time, and then I learn all the steps to do the project, I buy all the materials to do the project, I start the project, and my hand and eye isn't practice. I don't know what I'm doing. I could research till forever and still not know how to perform an appendectomy. Theory and practice are not the same, but my brain still has this delusion that it's just going to know right away how to do stuff. And I'm thinking that, Janelle from 7 years ago was kind of under the impression that I was just going to know how to do it. And I think I gave that confidence off to the people around me, so they thought I knew exactly what I was doing, that I was going to be fine. And at midnight, when you're tired and exhausted and you don't know what else to do, that I have a guest with me today. When I don't know what it is, that I'm like, it's very evident that I am making this up as I go, right? So So this channel, I hope we get to topics that are helpful to you. And if you have any suggestions for topics that you would like to hear about, somebody else's opinion, of course, disclaimer, I'm not a medical professional. These are just anecdotes, anecdotes, anecdotes of what I've experienced and the knowledge that I've come across that have helped me. Hopefully, maybe, possibly they could help you, or they could just make you aware that there are other solutions. Like my solution might not be the best solution for you, but there are other solutions. And um, I've personally been in therapy for some time now. And a lot of what my therapist helps me with is realizing that there are other solutions to the things that I'm going through. There are other ways to do things, how I've been taught or how it's been modeled to me, what anything should look like doesn't necessarily mean that that's the way that would work best for me. And I wrote a little a little itinerary of what I wanted to discuss today. My last video, I look it over and cringe. 'Cause I know I wanted to say stuff. I just was thinking about what I was going to say as I was saying it, so it was a little stiff. And hopefully this one will flow a little bit better. And when I do finally have another council member, it'll flow even easier. So bear with me as we evolve in this process. And so today's topic is about loneliness. And I take a deep breath before I speak of this because it's something that's very sensitive topic for me, because I've always considered myself a very shy person. And I'm talking to the internet right now. Hi. I'm letting the internet know my innermost, like, shameful secrets. But that's the only way that I'm ever going to get over it. It can't have power over me if I let it out into the light. It can't scare me anymore. If other people know about it, if other people can relate to it, I hope that it can help you overcome that as well. This is a personal kind of demon that I'm fighting, and so yes, here we are. We're going to talk about loneliness in motherhood, which is a surprising topic to me. I never for a million years thought that when I became a mother, I was going to feel the loneliest I have ever felt in my entire life. And I have lived by myself. I have traveled to other countries on my own. And yeah, those were moments of loneliness, of course, but never to this degree, never to a point where I just thought there's just no one to talk to. And that was that little voice of shame that was telling me that I didn't deserve to talk to anybody, that nobody else needs help. It's only me, it's only ever me that has this struggle for things, and I can't get it right on the first time. And that's not true. And so I unknowingly but willingly forced myself into a situation that could have been prevented had I opened up and talked to people and reached out. And when I bumped into others that maybe their feedback wasn't what I needed, or their comments on how to help me in this situation felt more like criticism, I know now that that's obviously not the person to reach out to for this problem. They have their own issues to deal with. And I've also learned that people's reactions to things have more to do with themselves and what they go through than me and what I'm presenting, right? So anybody that comes on this YouTube video now or podcast or however this is going to be broadcast to the internet, um, your commentary. If you want to leave negative commentary, that's absolutely fine. That doesn't change my feelings or how I've experienced. That has to do with you and your feelings and how you've experienced it. And if you don't relate to anything that I say here today, wonderful. I am so happy for you. I don't wish loneliness on anybody. Not really. It's just an awful place to be, and it just allows other shameful feelings to just fester and grow unnecessarily, because we're all human and we all go through things to whatever degree. There's small t trauma and big T trauma and medium and minuscule T and all the T's, types of trauma, and they affect you and they affect your world. And when you're a mother, those things affect your child directly and indirectly. Now, loneliness, what do I want to say? The reason why this is Mama's Midnight Counsel to begin with is because that midnight moment was one of the loneliest moments that I experienced over and over and over again. There's not people to talk to at that time. My partner's asleep. People that I could reach out to during the daytime are not available at that time. And a sad side effect of loneliness is your own thoughts just keep building and growing and becoming larger than life. And if it's like let's see, what are, obviously, number one, that I was a horrible mother would just build up and build up, and that wasn't true in the least. I was doing my absolute best. How can someone who's trying their absolute best be horrible? There's just no way. Those two don't correlate. So I feel for all mothers and anybody taking care of a child, especially for the first time, and you're having that moment where there's just nobody to help or speak to, or even like to occupy your let's just say the night is especially difficult. And aside from the night, other places where I would feel lonely is like doctor's offices. Awful. You tell your doctor, hey, this weird thing is happening. Your doctor in 30 seconds is going to explain to you why you're just being ridiculous, or not being ridiculous, but they're just gonna wave you off. They're gonna blow off whatever your concern is. They have 296 other patients to see, and that little gurgle that your baby is making doesn't ring any alarm bells. But you can always make another appointment. That's okay. You can keep making appointments. And what they don't understand is that you've been thinking about that little gurgle for however many hours since it happened, and you Googled it and you WebMD'd yet. You WebMD'd, goodness, WebMD'd, like if it was a verb, that gurgle, and it's told you a million horrendous things and that it could possibly be, and your doctor's just going to answer like, oh, don't worry about it. Like, that's a very lonely moment. Like, I've just spent hours researching what this could possibly mean, and you're just going to tell me it's not a big deal, don't worry about it. That's kind of hard to swallow. And if you don't speak about that with somebody that's going to listen to you and validate that, okay, yes, you notice something strange, but let's not panic about it just yet because it could actually be nothing. That's an incredibly lonely experience. Another lonely experience is when you speak to other moms, and you'll talk about, I don't know, something horrible that happened, that you feel it in your body as this traumatic experience. Birth is a trauma. It can be a tiny T trauma for some people. Some women give birth and it's this ease, and I've never seen an orgasmic birth, but apparently they exist somewhere. There is one very lucky woman on the entire planet that was able to experience, and they keep broadcasting that as like an ideal that we can achieve if we breathe in yoga and Kegel it. But like the percentage of when that actually happens is like minuscule. And so I'm thinking the majority of us do not have an easy time of it. And then when we're trying to like relieve that trauma, because talking is how you get over these bad feelings, talking about it, releasing it, you'll get, oh, but at least you have this beautiful child and you're so blessed that they're healthy, or you're so blessed that I could have died. Okay. I'm trying to tell you that I thought I was going to die in that moment, and you're just trying to like weave past that and veer around it and just like help, of course out of good intentions. They're not trying to, I know that these people are not trying to be mean about it, or to blow me off, because they don't want to hear it, or they have their own birth trauma that's like, you don't know what you're talking about. I had it 100 times worse. But that's why I'm trying to build this channel, because if it's a little, I still validate that you experienced something horrendous out of the complete ordinary that you were not expecting, and it hurt you. And somebody else that experienced this trauma to a million, that I just would never think that that's something that can actually happen. I validate that person too. Like, yeah, absolutely. That sounds like a horrendous time, and I don't wish that on anybody. So if we don't talk about these things, they're just gonna fester and eat us up from the inside, and that spills out into the rest of our life, because we have to continue holding that. So I guess that can be another video if you're interested in hearing about my birth story. Like I didn't, here's a perfect example. I didn't realize that other women can have like flashbacks of their birth experience. Like people that have been to war, they experience flashbacks, and that's like this really big deal. They go to therapy for it, they take medication, all these things, and I'm responsible for this infant, and I'm experiencing flashbacks of this horrible moment where I just like freeze essentially, or I just get caught in that feeling, and my body feels like it's there again in this moment where it felt so helpless. And I'm taking care of something that actually is helpless now. I didn't know that was a thing until my sister-in-law mentioned that, that she was experiencing these flashbacks, and she didn't know that that was a thing. Nobody ever told her. I didn't tell her because I thought it was just me experiencing that, or, I'm kind of removed from that early time by a handful of years now. So I'm so sorry that I just didn't remember that that was a thing. But it's even a thing now, because I still haven't let it go. I actually spoke recently about something pertaining to that, and the response to the person that I was speaking to was like, get over it already, get over it. It's like, yeah, oh my gosh, what did I think of that? Just get over it, So this is a judgment-free zone. Please I hope you feel safe here. And I hope that when somebody comes to you and explains something that was traumatic to them, whatever it might be, though you might not feel traumatized yourself, to at least acknowledge that that is something that they felt. And okay, yes, how can I help you move on from that, if that's even what you want, or you just want me to listen? I hope the conversation about those sorts of things change. I think they are. This just happens to be an older person that knows me very well, and that I love and care for. And again, their reaction to what I'm saying has nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with their life experience and how they have had to deal with issues that have come up with them throughout their life. And that's just how how it is. Welcome to humanity. And all right, we'll take a little break here in case some of you need to switch sides or get one of those air bubbles out. So take a moment and we'll continue from here. Welcome back. So you're thinking, Janelle, I get it. Loneliness sucks. That's how I feel. How do I fix this? How did you fix this? It's not 100% fixed. Part of my process to fixing it, though, was number one, realizing that I was lonely. Number one. And then after that, it's okay, what can I do to be around people? And at first, I thought, okay, I need to make mom friends because mom friends are going to understand where I'm coming from. So I would put my kid in a mommy and me class. And I'm extremely sleep deprived. I probably should not have been driving or handling a child in the first place. Like, it was bad. And then I'm taking my child to a mommy and me class where the instructor wants for you to play with your child. And in my mind, I'm like, I don't want to play with them. You play with them. That's what I'm paying you for. Can I sit with the other moms or can the other moms and I sit and have a coffee and talk to each other? No. Okay. So that kind of didn't actually work. A bad coping that I did for a while was watching moms on YouTube. But they were not moms like I was a mom, not really. Like I kept gravitating towards these like Pinteresty, visually nice YouTube moms. That was not good. And for a long time, what I did was watch television. That didn't combat the loneliness. I mean, it filled the hour with something, but it didn't combat any loneliness. So it was that. Then Instagram became a bigger fixture, and that took hours out. That helped. I mean, it wasn't healthy. It was not a healthy coping, but it was a coping. And eventually, I got into reading again. I got into Sarah J. Maas and Court of Thorns and Roses, and I have a very vivid imagination, and those people became my friends. I cried, I laughed, I swooned, the whole thing. Embarrassing, but uh, I love those books so much. And then I tried starting a book club. That was challenging. It did not go anywhere fast. What else did I do? Jeez. Well, okay. A big kind of turning point was when I kind of, after one too many meltdowns, I said I give up and I'm going to talk to somebody about this. There is just no way. And thanks to things like the YouTube moms and the Instagram, I was able to, like, they would talk about depression and ADHD, and do you have this symptom or that symptom? Are you acting this way or that way? And I kind of started getting information from there, like, hey, this kind of feels familiar. This feels like what I'm going through. And so eventually I'm like, oh, I thought postpartum depression looked a particular way, had particular symptoms, and I didn't have those. I had something else. But that's all kind of the same, this under the same umbrella. So after one too many meltdowns, I went and I saw a professional. I saw a psychiatrist first. I don't know if that's the correct order to do things, but that's what I did. I looked up my insurance. I and I saw who was whatever. I just picked a name at random because I asked for a recommendation. No, I can't do that. I have to suffer in silence, people. So I picked one, and thank goodness they were very helpful, and they were able to suggest certain treatments. Was that the 100% fix? No. I got diagnosed with ADHD and postpartum depression. I was given medication. It helped for a time. It helped. And with that help, I eventually noticed that I was gonna need a little bit more than medication alone. That's just like diet and exercise. You could do one and you'll lose weight, but you kind of need a balance of both. And or at least it took one to get to the other. And so then I found a therapist, another person at random that I found, and I absolutely adore her. She has been so helpful, and one of the number one reasons why I have this this show now. So thank you, Dr. Jessica. And I'm not gonna give her full credit because this was not her idea, but her helping me move forward and have like the deadline, like you have to do this today, this is the thing you want to do, you have to get it done by this date. And I was like, great, this feeds my ADHD, the deadline, thank you. And now we have this. So that was extremely helpful, and I'm voicing all these nasty things, these horrible feelings that I feel horrible about having in the first place are just bubbling up. And I'm just able to release them to somebody who will listen to me and then help me move forward from there. That was phenomenal. That has helped me so much. So if there's anyone out there and you're having second thoughts about therapy and speaking to a stranger, I'm not saying that all of them are amazing, but that process is very cathartic and it's very helpful. And I definitely recommend it. I've been very lucky that I found somebody and that was the exact person that I needed. So I wish that luck for everybody. And eventually what's happened is that I've been able to gain confidence in myself. I'm realizing that I'm not the only one that goes through these things. I'm not the only person in the world that has a hard time with motherhood and feels bad about it. And I'm able to talk to other people. One thing I did do, like I keep putting myself in uncomfortable situations to get comfortable with them. And there is a group of moms that are friends in my kids' school that they hang out every so often. And one time they passed out flyers because they put together an event. And another mom that I had befriended in my daughter and son's class, we were like, okay, yeah, we'll go. She's very friendly, I'm friendly, and I'm building this muscle that is very weak in me, which is putting myself out there. And so I go, and I'm on time. And there's just like nobody there. I happen to know the husband, so he and I chat for a little bit, but I'm just in his house, just hanging out, and I'm seeing everything set up, and I'm like, what have I gotten myself into? And of course, my mom friend that was gonna go with me can't that day for whatever reason, so I'm all by myself, and things happen for a reason. So I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing here? This is so awkward. And as the event progressed, it was just so funny. I'm thinking to myself, oh no, this is like a religious thing. I got tricked into a religious thing. Now I have like a Bible study, and that's not what I was looking for. It's helpful to some people. I'm not interested in that right now. It wasn't that. It was literally a group of friends that got together and created like this event with a I think she's a psychologist, but she's a famous doctor, that talked. She had like a whole presentation about different types of abuse that women experience. Fascinating. I was not expecting that at all. And all the women were really lovely and hilarious. Hilarious. Oh my gosh. And what was amazing was that one of the moms is a really good singer. And so she was going to open the event with this song, but she's a mom, right? And singing is like a muscle that she hasn't flexed in a while because she's a mom and she has kids and a job and all these things. And so she comes out singing and she's looking at the lyrics, but she's forgetting how the song goes and she's trying to focus on the lyrics. And it was so funny. And we're all laughing and she's laughing. And she's like, as you can tell, I did not have time to practice the song before I did this. But if I don't do this, I don't put myself out there, then I'm never going to do it. And, you know, to her, this is kind of inspired by her, because if I'm rambling on the internet, hopefully somebody is getting something from this. I did have 30 viewers on my first episode. I have 30 viewers right now. It's so cute. It's so cute. So thank you to all those 30 people that that listened to me ramble for 25 minutes or however long that video is. So funny, so funny. So I put myself out there and I was rewarded. Those women are extremely lovely. I see them at school all the time, and I'm not afraid to sit with them and chat and open up about things that are happening. And one of my least favorite words in the entire world is the word fine, because we use that as kind of like just to get around whatever nasty feeling is happening, and it's not fine. If I ever use the word fine with you, know that you are in deep trouble, because it is not fine. I do not like that word. And fine, I'm fine, everything's fine. How are you? I'm fine. Oh, it annoys me so much. It's not true. No, you're not fine. You'll be great. You'll be wonderful. You're having a good morning. Your coffee was fantastic today. Your eggs had shells in it because you let your kid help make breakfast. So you're kind of bummed out that you had a crappy breakfast this morning full of eggshells. Extra calcium, I guess, silver lining. And your kid learned something, so silver lining there. And realize, and so that's something that I did. I joined a women's group. I went on a retreat. I talked to people I've never met before in my life. And what's really interesting about that is I was completely by myself. I'm in a different city, in a different state, talking to people I've never met before in my entire life, going through like meditations and visualizations and all these things that I love all that stuff. And I was doing it in a group with other women, and I had to go there I went there knowing that if I am feeling the way that I'm feeling, and I'm going to this place by my absolute self, I don't know anybody here, those women most likely are same as me. They're the same as me. They don't know anybody else here. They don't know what's gonna happen. They've never done this before. They are searching for like sisterhood and friendship, and they're searching for the same thing that I'm searching for. I have to be open and receptive and participate and go full on out with whatever wild thing we're gonna do. Go full on out and and have the experience. I'm the only one responsible for that. And it was wonderful, and I have so many new friends because of that. And one final advice that I can give on loneliness that I have come to realize is that I am 100% responsible for my feeling of loneliness. It's my fault that I felt lonely. Now, I didn't know. You don't know what you don't know. And when you're a kid, you make friends so easily. It's so easy to make friends. Hey, you're wearing a pink shirt just like me. We're best friends now. And you, as an adult, that doesn't happen, unfortunately. We all have our hang-ups or whatever, and we hide behind these walls, and we don't want to talk about those yucky feelings because they're shameful, they're embarrassing, it's not perfect, we're not perfect, and we have to have this aura of perfection or having it all together. And it's just hurting. It's just hurting ourselves and each other, and so now knowing that there are ways to not feel lonely, I recommend that you figure out ways that are easy for you. It can be little. It could be a YouTube show that you relate to. It can be an internet friend that you relate with, and over Sarah J. Maas books or thrillers or murder documentaries. I hate those things. Oh my God, this is horrible. Okay. Whatever it is, reaching out and putting yourself out there, because if not, you're going to be at midnight by yourself with a baby that's looking to you to figure out how to be human, and we're trying to teach them the best, most amazing way to experience life, and our hangups are gonna transfer to them, unfortunately. So you kind of have to build yourself up. Thank you for watching Mama's Midnight Council episode 2. If you've made it this far, I'd appreciate it if you subscribed or at least a comment below. Thank you so much. If you're finding motherhood to be difficult, it's because it is difficult. It is so difficult. And you're probably trying your best to do a good job. And there's nothing more beautiful than that. So, good job. Nice to see you again. Good night. I hope you rest well.